Hey, what's up everybody? In this video we're going to look at the wizard build that I'm using currently for Torment 6. Let's get right to the skills. I have Ray of Frost with Snow Blast. With the rune Snow Blast, anything that I hit with Ray of Frost will take 15% increased damage from cold for 4 seconds. That's good for single target and multi-target. Hydra with Frost Hydra. I have a couple pieces of gear that you'll see here in a minute that tie in with this. That is also a great damage dealing and defensive skill. I have Storm Armor with Power of the Storm for lightning damage, and also with Power of the Storm it reduces arcane power cost of all skills by 3. So that helps with my Ray of Frost. Since this is my primary, I've replaced my primary with a secondary. This helps so that the channeling cost of this is reduced. I have Familiar with Spark Flint for fire damage and a 10% increase in damage. Magic Weapon with Force Weapon, which is a 20% increase in damage, also occasionally gives me arcane damage, but it's not reliable. For arcane damage I have Black Hole with Spell Steal. This is a great one because enemies hit with this Black Hole, 10% damage reduction for 5 seconds, and each enemy hit will grant you 3% increased damage. So if you hit 10 enemies with this, that's a 30% increase in damage. So you can see how that really helps. That's great for defensive and offensive. For my passives, I have Cold Blooded, which is a 10% increase for all, 10% damage increase for all frozen and chilled enemies. Astral Presence, I have this for Ray of Frost channeling, 2.5 per second and an additional 20 arcane power. I have Elemental Exposure, which is big for this build since I do have Tal-Rasha set. This will give me a 20% damage buff if I hit enemies with everything that I have as far as all my different elements. And then finally Blur for the damage or defense boost. So for the gear, for the head I have the Magistrate, nothing special except Frost Hydra now periodically cast Frost Nova. So now that I can have 2 with the Serpent Sparker Hydras at one time, and then this will also cast defensive Frost Novas, so that'll freeze everything. So if I stay near them, it's pretty difficult for enemies to get to me. And then here is Tal-Rasha's set. I have the chest, neck, and waist. And if you don't know, this is a great set for damage boost, because if you use all four types of damage, arcane, cold, fire, and lightning, it'll cause a meteor of the same damage type to fall from the sky, and each damage type has an 8-second cooldown. So as you'll see when I play the game, you'll see lots of meteors falling from the sky from this. That's a great damage increase. Nothing here except for 500% for Firebird. I do have this set, but I'm not a big fan of Firebird's set. It's okay for multiplayer, but for solo, and of course this is a solo build, I'll show you why here in a little bit. But I just have 2 pieces of that with 500 intellect boost. I have Frostburn. I just got these. That's a cold damage increase, along with your cold damage has up to a 35% chance. It doesn't mean you have a 35% chance. That'd be great. Everything would be frozen then, but the weaker enemies I believe freeze pretty easy. But great gloves. And then my bracers, the Warzachian arm guards. Nothing special except for cold skills, for damage increase on cold, and then every time you destroy a wreckable object you gain a short burst of speed. So that kind of helps when you destroy something. You could run around quicker for 2 seconds. Here's my only piece, ancient piece, is a pair of boots. They drop, the drop rate on ancients are pretty low, but this just has a little better stats than my other one, that's all. And then for my offhand I have Light of Grace, and now this allows Ray of Frost to pierce, because typically Ray of Frost does not. Now this allows it to pierce like what the hell is it called? Like Disintegrate. So it's nice to have Ray of Frost, which does more damage than Disintegrate, and also it slows and everything. So once you have this, Disintegrate kind of takes a back seat unless you have the double width fire rune. But anyway, alright, so for the legendary gems I have Mirain, I rank 3, I haven't ranked this up very much. 15% chance on hit to smite a nearby enemy for 2,000. That crits for, I believe, maybe about 25 million last I checked. And then I have Pain Enhancer, which causes a bleed. Essentially this is about 600% weapon damage every second when I crit on an enemy, so that's great DPS boost. And then I've just got this to level 25. The Gem of Infectious Toxin poisons all enemies hit for 3,250 weapon damage over 10 seconds. So that's good for 325 weapon damage a second. And then also, because I got it to 25, all enemies you poison take 10% increased damage from all sources. So that's a great damage boost and dot. And that should be about it for the gear. So my attack speed's up at almost 20. If I get this higher, the problem is that Ray of Frost will now start spending a lot of arcane power, so it's hard to keep up. Which is easy to fix, but I'm trying to maintain that. Critical hit chance 40%. I wish it was up at 50, but I had to do some changes with some stats to get to tier 6 for more defense. Critical hit damage could be a lot higher too, but 362 seems to work. Area damage 50% just off of the my Paragon. Oh, I got one to spend. Off of my Paragon points. And then, as you can see, fire, lightning, cold, and arcane all at 5%, but cold has more, 37%. This is actually pretty tough with everything that I have to get up. I do have the 2 pieces that get it up to 32, and then extra 5 from Tal-Rasha's. Armor, defense, pretty decent. Life, right here I got life per second 10,000, life per hit 29,000 almost, and life per kill 11,000. This really helps for Torment, because the life per hit allows me to regenerate a lot of health when I get hurt. As you can see, my toughness is at about 10 million. But right here, as you see, I have Unity on me, and all damage taken is split between wearers of this item. This is the reason why this is only a solo build for me. I could use it non-solo, but I would lose, or I'd take twice as much damage, because I have these 2 pieces. I gave my follower Unity also, and then she also has a legendary focus that allows her never to die. She doesn't take any damage, so that effectively reduces my damage by half. So that is a big plus for getting into tier 6. You know, when your gear isn't that great, you can focus more on damage rather than defense. Health healing, nothing special. So that's about it for everything. So let's go and kill some stuff. As you can see, buffed, I have only about 1 million damage, but with all the additional buffs when everything gets going, it does seem to work pretty damn well. So as you can see, meteors fall from the sky pretty readily, and then I could also put up two frost hydras, which do a lot of damage. They attack a lot faster, but they don't do as much damage as the damn, right off the bat. As much damage as they used to pre 2.12. In 2.1 they did not do that much damage. As you see, I still take damage. It's just you got to be mindful of where you stand. And if this wasn't a jailer, it'd be a lot easier. Maybe the shits die during a video. But of course, since this is tier 6, things do tend to take a little while. I think I have a 15% increase in elite damage from Unity, but that's about it. I do have a Stone of Jordan, but it's hard to tie in with all the gems and everything like that. So all I really do is put up both my Frost Hydras, and then if it's on cooldown, use my oh, got sucked in. Use my Black Hole, and that helps a lot with damage reduction, damage increase. And as you can see, it's just maintaining my Frost Hydras in the right spot. Since they are short range, you do have to regularly move them. And the Frost Nova that expands, it takes a few seconds before they cast the very first one. So, but I am very happy with the build. A little bit of lag there. As you can see, I could suck everybody up and essentially blow them away, freeze them, everything like that. When they're grouped up like that. When they're all spread out, this build doesn't work as well. But along with my dot legendary gems, that helps too. So I can just kind of spray across and they'll all be getting damaged over time, and if they're near death, they'll just die, which is useful. It sucks when you have a bunch of enemies that run up to you and they still have a little bit of health left, and you still got to try to kill them. So that way, I do like dot damage in this game just for that reason. So there's another just complete wipe, because with both those frost hyges up and spraying in the same area, since their breath does pass through enemies, and then my here's a group, and then my ray of frost passes through also. You can see it does a shitload of damage if everything's grouped up. But like I said, if things get a little crazy, just kite, and it's not too bad. It is a difficult build to get everything that I have. It just took me a long time to cobble everything together and get it just right to be able to use on tier 6. This is actually my first feasible tier 6 build, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and as you can see, it works pretty damn well. I'm able to do, let's see here, I'm estimating this, I should be able to do greater rifts up to, I think I just completed 26 fairly easy. I still had about, I would say, a little less than half the timer left, so maybe a tier 30 build with this. I wouldn't try to go very much higher than that just because the damage is maybe a little low for it. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to like and or subscribe to Dread's Escape, and I'll show you a couple more builds that I have here coming up. This ain't it, this is just my current tier 6. I do have some lightning and Firebird builds that I've been toying around with. So I'll put those up here within the next, I don't know, week or so. So make sure to check those out. Thanks.